Hello everyone, this is by far one of the strangest setups I've had, but you'll see it's warranted. Today we're going to open this box, and this box was sent to me by Modifius, specifically from Chris Birch, the CEO of Modifius. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk a little about how I got here, okay? It's a nice little story. Well, first of all, let's get right to it and dive into the first game that's here that I've been waiting for a long time. And yes, this is a prop of a Chris knife, but we won't be opening with this. It's not sharp. We'll be using just a regular. So, first game here is Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, the adventure game. How did I get to make a video about this legendary game? Back in April 2001, I've been doing quite a few already of Kickstarter videos. Some major publishers, but nothing too big. And I've had a few things on my list which were dream projects for me. I've already done the Terminator RPG by Nightfall Games, which was a dream project within itself. And I did also Zorro, the dice game, which was also a nice IP. But I always wanted to do Dune, okay? That was my dream project. Dune is literally one of my favorite IPs of all time, maybe after Star Wars. I've read the original novel about every year, so ever since I started reading it when I was like 13, I think, or 14, I've read it almost every year. Every time it's a new experience, every time it feels fresh. It's just such a dense and amazing book. So you see I even got this prop from the sci-fi series, which I'm a big fan of. And I was browsing Twitter and I saw that one of the artists, his name is I think Aaron Arick, that's his Twitter handle at least. So he was posting artwork from the Dune RPG. And I literally just, wrote down as one of the comments, "Man, I would love to animate these videos as a promo video. I reached out to them, but I haven't heard back yet because previously I did try to do some cold outreach unsuccessfully." And what do you know? He replied to that and he said, "I hope they contact with you. Would love to see these animated." And what do you know? A second later, Chris replies to that tweet and he says, "Would love to talk about that." All of a sudden, I'm like, this dream might actually become a reality. And I immediately messaged back to Chris through Twitter, and I asked him, what do you want to know? Is there anything I could do to help? And he gives me his email address. So I send him an email immediately. I try to make it the best sounding email that I can. My name is Ori. I've worked on this. And here I did the Terminator RPG. Here I did Zorro. Here I did a few other campaigns which were very successful. And guess what? Radio silence. For a whole month. Okay, there's the rule book. For a whole month, nothing. And without things, you don't want to be too pushy. You don't want to sound like you're desperate or anything like that. So I took my time, and after a month, okay, this was April, so a month later, May, I send a follow-up email. "Hey, I imagine you must be busy. I was wondering if there's anything that you can do." And I realized, you know what, I need to make an impression. So I just went to the internet, I downloaded a high resolution illustration from Dune, and I just animated it. Yeah, this was just me trying to make an impression, and I finished animating that. I think that looks really good as well. And I posted it on Twitter. And the original artist is like, oh, that is so cool, but that one wasn't actually mine. I'm like, oh shit. Well, I'll do one of yours later. And I sent an email, sent that, no reply. Okay, nothing. Oh, look at those dual layered boards. I'll show everything here in a moment. I'm just getting everything out. So I wait another month. And again, this is getting stressful because I feel it's so close. It's so close, but I guess I missed my chance. I guess maybe my work wasn't impressive enough. Maybe I was bothering him. And you know, who am I even? But a month later, I don't give up, and I try again. Whoops, this is a huge board. I don't think this table is big enough. So I try again. I send another email. Hey Chris, I was wondering if you saw my previous emails. I saw that they just announced recently. Oh, I'm not going to be able to fit all this. So let's do half. They recently announced a new expansion for the Dune RPG. I saw they announced something new. It's really cool. I downloaded the demo module and I'm reading through it, and it's really awesome. I was wondering if you need any help with a video related to your projects to Dune. I'm like, you know, might as well. It's just an email. No sweat off my end. Well, guess what? He replied. But it was about another project. Back then it was a secret project. It's not secret anymore. But he said, we're doing this very interesting secret project. I was wondering if you can do something with it. And he sent me this amazing artwork of this Roman legionnaire, like cutting through sort of like a Cthulhu zombie. And this other sorcerer like splitting another one in half. And I was like, I'm not going to be taking my chances. I didn't reply to the email. I took that artwork and I fully animated it. I literally spent a whole day just doing the craziest animation. Here, you can see it here. So I sent that to him, and that was it. He was like, wow, that is really cool. I love the energy. I love the tone. Let's have a chat. I did not expect you to do that. Let's chat. And that's how I got to the first meeting with Chris. Now, you know, fast forward. I realized Chris is one of the most amazing people in this industry, in the board game industry. I'm just taking all these tokens here. And he just loves it so much. He does everything. He loves doing everything. He loves talking to the artists. He loves designing. He loves talking to creatives. So while he's doing that, he's still managing all the logistics and you know, everything that goes into running a huge company like Modifius. And I'm feeling a little bit of that like right now where I'm at my business now. So really no hard feelings about all that. I totally understand. But it was getting to that meeting and finally getting to meet him, and we had such a wonderful conversation, and we talked about the project, which was Cohors Cthulhu, which we are working on the trailer for right now. But we came to an agreement of doing this series of videos, each one based on an artwork, going crazier and crazier, and it was just a joy to create. So, you know, I got to do an amazing project. It wasn't my dream project, but nevertheless, I really enjoyed it. Well, what do you know? A few months later, as we were knocking out these videos one after the other, because we had like 8 that we did, he said, we might have another project we need help with. I'm not sure yet. It's still early stages, but it's a little video game you might have heard of called Skyrim. And this was like somewhere in COVID, where we were in lockdown, and you know, just like everything was crazy. It was just this sort of beacon of light. Oh my God, don't freak out, don't freak out, don't freak out. I'm like, oh yeah, I've played it. I've played it before. Sure, we can do something. Oh, well, we decide to go ahead and do it. What we did for Skyrim was pretty wild because I've never imagined I'd be able to do this. It was a big factor of, you know, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. There are things we got permission for. We got permission to use the music, but only a certain type of the track without the vocals. And we were able to use the miniatures. They also create a lot of miniatures for the Skyrim miniature game. We're able to use the miniatures to craft like the environment. But I was just like, the miniatures it's not enough. We really want to recreate the world. I want to create this area, this location, one-to-one. And I would do like location scouting. I went into the game, you know, going back to it after I played it so long ago and revisiting these areas and taking photos as if I was like doing a location scout. I was like, there must be a way to just somehow lift this out of the game. And I did my research, and you know, Skyrim is a heavily modded game, and of course there is a way to just rip out all the assets from the game. And that's what we did. We ripped out all the assets, rebuilt a whole level, okay, just like it is in Skyrim. We took a little creative liberties, and you know, they were just expecting for a video that shows the gameplay, you know, shows the miniatures, okay, shows the player boards, the dual layer player boards, and obviously the ridiculous amount of cards that this game has. But I decided, you know, might as well, if we're doing such a cool project, might as take it a step further. And I did a whole cinematic. I got the model of the Dragonborn, which was really funny because if you see the video itself, you can see that we don't see his face. That's because the model I was using was like a low poly model, which looks like a soulless person. The eyes were mismatched, that the face was all weird. And I basically rigged the guy, and I did a whole, you know, him walking through the snow, something attacks him, you know, sneaking behind, and then he does this flippy, this was all like stock motion capture footage that I could plug into the model and have that nice transition from and right into the model. I think it's one of my favorite transitions of all time. Yeah, here we go. And it was just a blast. We just went completely overboard. And this was the first project which I realized I'm gonna need help on. And I started gathering a crew around this game, around this video. Daniel, our 3D animator, this was the first project he helped me on, and he created the whole environment. I was just like, oh, we have this small project that we're starting. We were in talks about working together for a while. I'm like, oh, it's a little project called Skyrim. He was like, what? And he helped me with the environment a bit, and we also brought Tal Steinberg to do the sound design, and that was amazing because they got a sound voice actor, which was the original voice actor of Skyrim passed away, unfortunately, and this was like a sound-alike person. It sounded exactly like him, and I had the chance to be with him in the virtual studio and sort of direct him of what I want and what intensity, and to get a little bit of those grunts and things like that.
The Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, the adventure game.
It was a crazy, crazy experience. Well, we finished that video. They were very pleased with it. It launched very successfully on Kickstarter. Was it Kickstarter or GameFound? It was GameFound. Sorry, it was GameFound. And that basically kickstarted Kagan Productions. You know, Kagan Productions came out of that. From there, I got tons and tons of requests from quotes, bigger projects, bigger companies, And it's like that video really put me on the map. I could easily say, you know, oh, we're the studio that did the Skyrim video. It's like, oh, the Skyrim video. It was featured on IGN with, I think, over 350,000 views. I saw people, you know how they react to trailers, like big trailers, like Star Wars. You have all the people with the reactions. There were people reacting to my trailer for Skyrim. My logo appears on the trailer for Skyrim. It's just mind-blowing, okay? It's still hard for me to remember that. So this was definitely a dream come true. But after we finished this project, you know, I built a relationship with Chris. I felt more comfortable, and I said, Chris, do you have a Dune project coming up by any chance? And he said, funny you should ask. That leads to this game. Agents of Dune, which was released not long after Skyrim. I don't remember exactly when. They told me there was something coming, and indeed, it was Dune. And this is a very interesting project, but, you know, I got to achieve my dream. And we went all out with this video. I said, I don't care what's in the game, what is it about. We're leading with, I don't know, 20 or 30 seconds of a sandworm coming out of the ground, because that's what I wanted to do. And the recent movie came out, and I was like super inspired by all the visuals there, and we tried to mimic it exactly. We tried to create that effect, the drum sand where you see it like rippling through, and we had this whole section in the beginning where the camera's like flying through the dunes, and then we go down and we see this sand starting to vibrate, and the way they did it in the movie, and suddenly it like drops out, and you see this hand which is scorched by sand. Initially it's way more bloodier, but then I toned it back a bit. I don't want it to be disgusting. I wanted it to be like eerie and cool. And then you see the sword, which is the model taken directly from the movie, but the icon, the logo on the sword isn't the Atreides sword. If you look closely, it's actually the icon of this new house, okay? The whole concept of Agents of Dune is sort of a very smart way for them to create their own lore, because the whole concept here is a what-if scenario. What if you are a house that got in charge of Arrakis, of Dune, okay, instead of the Atreides? How would you handle that? What's your relationship with Harkonnens? And it lets you, through like a starter set RPG, sort of explore what you would do. And it uses the same rules as Dune Adventures in the Imperium, which is their big D&D module for Dune, official, of course. And they had here some freedom to take it in different directions that could technically break the lore in many ways, because it's an alternate reality. And I feel like we got a little bit more leeway with that. When we sent the video for approval, oh, wait, back to Skyrim. Sending Skyrim for approval was nerve-wracking, because they said they usually take between 2 weeks to 2 months to approve anything that we sent them. And we made sure to finish the video in time, so we'll have enough leeway to get it approved before the campaign launches. The Skyrim video was approved within 4 hours, and Chris said that has never happened with any of their assets. So with Dune, we also sent it, and you know, they said the Herbert estate, this video was going to be seen by, you know, Legendary Pictures, okay? Is going to be seen by the whole crew behind the movie, the producers, and it has to be approved by the Herbert estate. So frickin' Brian Herbert, or Kevin Anderson, Kevin J. Anderson, the Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson wrote a lot of spin-off. He's like the son of Frank Herbert, the author of Dune, and they both wrote a lot of spin-off books. They had to approve my video, so they literally watched my video. It took them, I think, about 10 days, and we got only one note. And that was, I animated the logo of Dune. I had like this sort of strobe effect where the letters create themselves. And they said, everything's okay, we love everything, just don't animate the logo. That's it. Everything else was approved. And this was just like a blast. We had the ornithopters flying through, we had, all this artwork, amazing artwork, and we had the game literally on the sand, being played on the sand with all these cool effects. And was another work with Tal and Daniel, and I told Tal to listen to a documentary about the sounds of Dune, sounds of the movie, and to try to replicate them as much as possible. The shimmering of the shields, the sound of the soundworms, all of that. So that's it. So finally they sent me all these games together, and I thought it would be an fun opportunity to tell the story. And, read me first. Yes. So you get this, read this first. You get the adventure book. Oops. The different characters. Okay, and then you get the map of Arrakis. There's a certain point in the video where you like collecting spice and a sandworm comes out. And, oh man, look at these dice. They have this sort of spicy color. And those cards, okay, yeah, a lot of great stuff here. And yeah, we've been working together ever since. We did a few more videos. We did, look at those travel pamphlets. Come visit Arrakis. It's beautiful and sunny, Come. We have beautiful resorts, spicy food, and visit the natural wildlife. So we did also a few projects afterwards, and most recently we finished a video for this game, Dreams and Machines, and this is like a starter set similar to Agents of Dune. And what I love about this is a completely original IP created by Modifius about, I would call it an optimistic post-apocalyptic world. Optimistic. And it's very childish, it's very innocent, it has these huge machines, it's very, very beautiful. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to trying all these games. And this was my story. Basically, if you have a dream and suddenly an opportunity presents itself and it doesn't seem to work initially, keep at it. Okay, keep at it. I know that sounds cliche, but you miss 100% of the chances of the swings you don't take, right? That's a saying? You miss 100% of the chances you don't take. So try again, write that email again, do a follow-up. You never know if the other side is not actually rejecting. It might be just because they're busy. There's so much noise in our world today, and it's really hard to pick out these chances, okay, these opportunities to make like real connections with people and make something amazing together. So I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you to Chris and the whole Modifius team. I had the chance to meet them also in person in a few conventions. Amazing people. Keep making amazing games, and thank you so much. Bye bye. Thank you for listening. And I need to put all this together. I'm not gonna have any room for all of this.